Welcome to the Home Services Success Stories podcast powered by Peakzi, the #1 AI platform for growing your home services business. I'm Julian Placino, your host, and we have a great show in store for you today. Because today we have Abe Brooks, who is the founder and owner of KangaRoof. Abe, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Julian. Thank you. Very well. Very good.
It's great to have you on and to dig deep into your story, which is a very inspiring one indeed. So Abe, take us back to 1987. Tell us the genesis founding story of KangaRoof.
Oh, it's many years back. It seems like light years, but I was roofing in the Roofers Union back in Pennsylvania. And, me and my buddies who we all kind of grew up together working for one roofer and ended up working for another roofer in the union. We started doing jobs with the boss's blessings on the side because we did big commercial jobs, and we started doing residential stuff. And one day, somewhere around 1987, 88, we had a big savings and loan crisis happened. And I'll never forget it. We were up on a 5-story hotel building just outside the Philadelphia airport. And we had been there for, a couple weeks doing roofs and metal roof on it and flat roofs down on the inside of it. And I think it probably was, I don't know what day it was that week, later on in the week, but we had decided, hey, we're just going to work through break and we'll take lunch and finish early that day and to beat the traffic going home. Well, we didn't go through break. We come down for lunch, and typically there's 100 to 150 people on this job site, and we're walking down the steps and like, wow, it's awfully quiet. No one's here. And as we get to the lunch truck, the girl says to us, I'm surprised you guys are here. We're like, we're the only ones left on the job. What's going on? And she kind of informed us, well, my first break, they got the message that the bank called a note on the project. The GC went bankrupt. Everybody went home because no one was getting paid. Back in these days, we didn't have cell phones or anything. So the job foreman's like, I'm going to go call the boss. I'll go hit a payphone and call the boss and see what he has to say about this. So you just say, he comes back, all right, we'll just finish the day. We'll go back to the office. And Jack was my boss. And I said, Jack, what's going on? Abe, I have no idea. I got to go see the accountant and a lawyer. I'll let you guys know tomorrow morning. Now, me and the job foreman had just bought houses literally less than a week from that day. And in the same neighborhood in Levittown and everything. We come back in and, Jack was pretty broken up. And he's like, I don't know what to tell you guys, but I need you to finish this roof off because both the lawyer and my accountant told me that if we walk away from the job, I get paid nothing. But if we finish the job in 7 years, I'll be lucky to get 20 cents on the dollar. And we had all known in the shout that this was probably the 5th job that we'd done for this GC, and there was still a lot of money out on the streets. So I said to Jack, Jack, how much does he owe you? And he says, Abe, he owes us $750,000. And my jaw just dropped. That was 1987. And we finished the job, and he had to lay us all off. We all ended up starting our own companies. And in the very beginning, the pack was, all right, you get a job, I'll work for you. I get a job, you come work for me. And we did that for the first year and a half. And just made a go of it. So there's been 3 different roofing companies that started out of that. And we keep moving on today. The one thing I did do is my wife was pregnant with my 3rd child at the time. So once the union benefits ran out, I had to make a decision. I got to get some kind of health benefits for the new baby coming along or do something. So I ended up taking a job in a warehouse. And for the next 5 years worked the midnight shift in the warehouse while starting A Brooks Construction, Brooks Roofing at the time is what it was called. And my first hire was my brother. He was in 11th grade, and he started working with me, and he's still with me today. And we're a team and a partner just going through with my wife taking care of the books. And today I've got 2 sons in the business and the 2 locations, as we spoke about earlier, the different locations and where we are today and how we grew.
Wow. So it really happened out of necessity, struggle, adversity, and a lot of sacrifice. So, well, I guess I'm curious, like in those early days then, what was the biggest difference in being, a contractor doing the work versus building a business? What was the different mindset shift there?
I think it was just survival at first. It was, how do we get this? And, the mindset is day to day, getting jobs done. Always had the dream of being able to build a business, but we were just truly contractors. And, my brother often laughs, like we were the chuck in the trucks. There were 4 of us in the front seat of an old Dodge Ram pickup truck going to do the job with all the ladders and everything else. And, we did everything on a handshake, didn't take money up front, didn't do anything, and didn't get paid until everybody was happy. And that was my thought process of how you build a business. It was really with trust and honesty and doing exactly what you say you're going to do and make everybody happy.
So what I heard in the beginning, it really was just about survival, doing anything you can. And you mentioned 3 companies grew out of that sort of layoff, right? So
yes.
And you helped each other out. So iron sharpens iron. So how did you go from kind of like that startup phase to eventually growth, which I know that CertainPath was instrumental in. So first off, shout out to CertainPath for allowing us to produce this very special episode with Abe here. So thank you very much for that. So what are some of the things that you learned from CertainPath that you went from startup to growth?
I'll tell you, we were in business for 20 years before I joined CertainPath.
Oh, wow. There was a lot of self-figuring out.
Yeah. So in those 20 years, I was able to grow the business to 1.2 million to 800,000. We would fluctuate between that. And I'm going to say from year 15 to year 20, it was a struggle because the frustration was me and my brother worked our butts off and did 1.2, and we made less money than when we did 800,000.
Oh, wow.
In a slow year. And we couldn't grasp what was going on. And when I sat in with profit days, the light bulb really went on, listening to what they were talking about, why, you're not making the profits that you should be making, what you need to do, how to watch your margins. And with that said, within the first 5 years of being with CertainPath, I went from I'll just say $1 million company to $3.5 million.
Wow.
And ever since then, we've been growing. We broke that 5 million mark probably 7 years in, and we've been north of 5 million, hitting 8-9 million different years, very consistently. And more importantly, me and my brother are always looking at the bottom line. Do we really want to take on this project and get a big number in, but it doesn't help the bottom line, because if we can't feed the bottom line, we can't feed the employees, we can't do the things we want to do. And we're focused more on the bottom line than the top line number, to be honest with you, that way, making sure that we're just taking on the jobs that are going to be profitable for the company, and which in the end leads to taking care of the employees and doing right with the community and doing right by everybody else. Because a lot of the things we do, it costs money, and if you're not making the profits to do it, you can't reinvest in the community, you can't reinvest into your employees, you can't reinvest into the business. And that's one of the big things that I preach to some of the new members here at CertainPath is, don't worry about the top line. look at the bottom line.
Interesting. 1.2 to 3.5 in a matter of how long did you say?
Within 5 years.
Within 5 years. So a couple of things I heard there. You said make sure to take the jobs that are profitable. So don't just take anything, but be selective to sort of analyze a deal ahead of time. The second piece was taking care of your employees. Taking care of them, they'll take care of your customers.
Yes.
But what were some of the other key implementations you learned from CertainPath that really moved the needle and made the difference?
Implementations would be the standard operating procedures, making sure we have processes in place. And the biggest one, and I remember talking to one of the founding members of Clockwork at the time and said, what do I train on? And he just looked at me and said, Abe, every day's a training. Whatever went wrong the day before and whatever went right the day before, people need to know that they did something right. And I was, as most owners, we look at what went wrong, let's fix it. How about give the shout out to what went right, and what they taught me then was, it's coaching. You're not managing, you're coaching your employees. And that really resonated with me with having 5 children and 4 of them being in sports and the other one being in dance. I coached them all, and I knew you got more through praise, than anything else. If you can highlight the good, it's easier taking the sour stuff, if it's built up with some sweetness, I guess is what I want to say. So, the training aspect was big, and getting everybody involved, not just training a few people. And one of the things that we continually do is on your 1-year anniversary with working for us, I bring all the employees who were with me for a year to EP. EP here at CertainPath is for all the new owners, all new owners and new businesses that are coming in, and gives them a deep dive on what it takes to run a successful business. These are all the things. And when my employees been with me for a year, I know they see everything, and everybody on the team is very vigilant about this has got to get done, this has got to get done. They don't really understand the why. And after the first day of EP, we go out to dinner every night and we just have the discussion. What are you picking up? What you think? And I always wondered why we did that, but I didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is explaining to me why you're doing this. And because it takes a while for you to understand, man, why is he so passionate about the reviews? Why is he so passionate about finding out where the homeowner got our name from? Why is that important to them? They don't know. We just train on, hey, listen, talking to the homeowner, it's a great talking point. How did you hear about our company? And when you find that out, I need you to put that in our CRM. And then they come in here and they see it at EP. Oh, he's using that for his marketing. And if the boots on the ground get that, now he knows his numbers. And then they'll hear me when I do my yearly kickoff, explain to them about marketing and where we are, how we did, how many times we got this, and this is where all of our calls are coming from. This is how we know it. And it starts coming together for them.
Wow.
When they come here to EP, and they typically come back, and what I'll do is I'll give them something to do. I mean, they all come back, and I'm always asking them, okay, so what do you see? What do you think that we can do better? That we're doing 99% of everything they're telling us. What is it that you see that our weakness is? And they usually give me 1 or 2, and I'm like, hey, what do you think would be the most beneficial to the company of this? Okay, do me a favor, figure out how to fix it. And what do we got to do? And they take ownership. And usually I'll give them 3 months to see what we have to do to move the needle. Let's take a look at the metrics, see what we got. This is where we were. This is what you did. and they take ownership, and that's their first step in becoming a manager in a company or following through with what they got to do.
Yeah. Things that I heard is that CertainPath taught you a kind of a proven methodology. It's different from running as an independent contractor versus building a business. And they gave you a kind of a blueprint to be able to follow so that you can scale operations. The second key thing that I heard is that really is focusing on the development of your people, because this is a boots on the ground business. That technician is servicing your customer. That's your brand. That is your key to success. And I think that was a really good takeaway. So as you continue to grow, and you have grown quite a bit, you now serve Bristol and Cresco, serving both Bucks County and also the Poconos.
Yes.
So what has been your key to continuing to scale that level of training and development and service as you continue to grow?
I tell you what, with COVID coming in, and that's when I went up to the Poconos and started doing things, but using the technology that's out there, the Zoom meetings, and being able to be up in the Poconos and still look my guys in the eyes and talk to them via Zoom meetings and different venues that we have now. Podcast. We would never be doing podcasts. But staying on the forefront of technology and using it in the business has really helped us with all of that. Having the daily meetings at 7:30 with the sales team, what went on, and the production guys, where are we going, what are we doing? My brother kind of runs that down in Bucks County, but we also incorporated the Poconos people into that meeting now. And just making it, we are two separate locations, about 2 hours apart, but we're able to do it all in one. I have a location in the Poconos where I set it up, big screen television, cameras, so we can all talk just like we're all in one big meeting. That has really helped out a lot to help run both locations. If I would have tried doing this probably 10 years ago, I would have to run back and forth from one location to the next just to be able to get in front of them, or sit on one phone, and it wouldn't work.
So it sounds like it's the intentional use of technology to continue the principle that you mentioned, which is developing the people, keeping everyone sort of cohesive, not just using technology for technology's sake, but for having a very defined purpose. You also mentioned innovation and staying up to date on the latest tools. So, of course, this podcast is powered by Peakzi. We are a customer of Peakzi, and we're here now. So if you would, tell us, what has been your experience working with Peakzi?
Very cutting edge, and a lot of it is the unknown still. What is AI going to do? How's it going to revolutionize everything? And Pawan, I've had a relationship with him with the business that he had, and me and him go back probably 7 years now, and he was really big and instrumental in me getting my reviews to where we are today. And he kept saying to me then, Abe, your reviews are going to be bigger than what you think. Just watch what happens. And with the AI revolution and how this is all coming on with Peakzi, he was very instrumental. He's like, Abe, I want you to be one of the first guys in here in the roofing platform. He says, you're going to take it, you're going to implement it, and we're going to make this happen. So, I mean, it's been a great ride, I'll say that. And it's not even, I think we're just scratching the surface with the AI revolution and what we're doing. I have AI answering my phones now, and people think I'm crazy, but I say they don't make mistakes. That's just, and if they didn't answer correctly, it's a matter of me sending an email, or one of my head call takers sends an email and say, we would prefer it be answered this way. And I'll be darned, next time that phone rings, it's answered that way. You know, you can't do that with a human, the human element. So
what has Peakzi done for your business so far, would you say?
I'll tell you what, right from the very beginning, and again, this goes boots on the ground. My son runs the Cresco location up there. He runs the production there, and I don't even think we were 1 or 2 days in with Peakzi, and we got a call we get a lot of people from New York. And typically in our realm, our age, the geographics that we're looking at is 35 to 65. And my son is very, very much with the technology. He knows all this stuff. And he said to me, that'll help us get to the younger generation. This AI and Peakzi. Well, he goes out, comes back, sells a $65,000 roof job. The guy's a tech startup guy from New York City, just bought a house up here in the Poconos. Got us from ChatGPT. Just what he did was ask who's the best roofer in the Poconos. Poconos KangaRoof is, and it laid out whatever we did. He said, I went to your website, told the girl who answered the phone, Kathy, I found my roofing company. I need you guys to come on out. And can I have Kyle or Abe come on out? Because he's seen us on the website, watched our commercials, did everything there. That's a demographic that I would say we had no chance for. Guy's a young 28-year-old millionaire and loves us. We've been replacing his windows, gutters. I mean, he's redoing the whole house with that. Right there, said to me, Kyle, you're right. It's the younger generation, but once the older generation picks up, they're going to be doing the same thing with just going through in the AI website, how that's going to revolutionize and how people are going to go in and do their search engine searches. You're not going to type it in. You're going to talk to your phone or talk to whatever's in your house at this point. And being the first one in that realm of marketing, I think is going to be a big boost for us. So I should say it already is, seeing how that's going.
Wow. What I heard from that is you were found by a customer who didn't necessarily belong to your demographic because of Peakzi, because you were able to be found through AI search, right? Because you said that the customer asked, not on Google, but on ChatGPT, who's the best roofer in Poconos area? And then Chat gave it Kanga.
And I believe the gentleman was in New York City when he asked that Chat, because he didn't live in the Poconos. He had bought the house, and then, you know, the way the story goes, and that's, my son was saying to me, hey, Dad, he got us off of the AI website, you know. So it's very cool to see how this is all going.
Yeah.
You know.
And the AI website, of course, a feature is that is what Peakzi does. It creates an AI website to help you be much more visible and found through AI search. So
correct.
That's really awesome, Abe. I appreciate you sharing that story. Before we move on and kind of close out with the rest of your story, anything else you'd like to mention about Peakzi to our audience?
It's the wave of the future. One thing I do see in, you know, other businesses that I'm connected to with friends and all that, people seem to be very afraid. You either love AI or you hate it. And I was at a conference in Phoenix in February, and this was classic. I go there. I love the AI realm, and I get it. I'm in the airport in Arizona. Hear these Waymos coming by that are driverless cars, and I wait, get in the Uber because I didn't realize they're there. And I said to the guy, "What the white Jaguars? What are they?" And he tells me. So right away, I'm on my phone. Boom. Okay, Waymo. So I go out to dinner that night, and next morning I come in, and I'm in this conference with about 20 other guys, mostly older than I am. And someone says, "Oh, did you see them driverless cars? I would never get in them. I wouldn't get them." I said, I went out to dinner with it. I think it's the best thing going. And their perception of AI compared to, you know, my perception's completely different. And they're like, "I would never trust a driverless car." I said, "So let me ask you, you'll trust someone who you never met before to take you down a freeway 55 miles an hour that you don't know where he was prior to picking you up. What was he doing? Where's he going? Does he know how to drive? I said, I think the computer knows what it's doing. And if I open the door, the car shuts off. I didn't know that. I said, that's the safety feature. I said, from me talking to a lot of people about AI and AI websites, they feel threatened. And what I'm here to say is I would not feel threatened by it at all. You got to use it as a tool. And Peakzi has really helped us along doing that. So shout out to Peakzi and all the guys there.
Well, certainly appreciate your words. And I think those are really awesome, great points. So, Abe, back to your team. I want to talk about your team. And quite frankly, when I asked you this in the pre-interview, you mentioned you almost got a little emotional. So tell us about why that is and what makes your team so great.
They're all very passionate about what we do, and they care so much. I mean, I go to a lot of different businesses, and I don't see what I feel in my own company or see in my own company. Everybody, that family thing is just a moniker, and hey, it is. But when I have the Christmas parties and we do the different things, or team building events and all that, and I just sit back and listen to what they've accomplished and what they've done. We have a monthly company meeting, and I'm going to say probably 2 years ago, Thanksgiving, and we have a facilitator that comes in through Dale Carnegie, and they do a monthly training, we could say, but it's more about just getting our culture right. And me and the wife were sitting in the back, and Mike, the facilitator, asked about just have everyone come on up and just talk about what you're thankful for, and to sit and listen to how our training has touched not them in their work lives, but in their personal lives. Some of the struggles that they've had in their life, and the training that we were able to provide to them through the business had helped them along and succeed in some of their struggles in everyday life. That I had to get up, walk out. It was powerful to me. Like, wow, we're able to make a difference in your employees' lives, and I couldn't do that unless they really had they're bought in. They enjoy what they're doing. They love KangaRoof. They love what we're doing here. So that, to me, is what I think really makes us very different from a lot of companies. And I'll say this, the CertainPath coaches that I deal with, when I send my employees here to the different coaching thing, and I don't know, for a little bit I just thought, they're just saying this. No, you got dedicated employees. They're special. They're cut above, and it makes me proud to know that, hey, we've done this. And 40 years ago, 1989, 90, those first 20 years, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that on my own without CertainPath and the coaches and the training and the systems that they put in place, just to get that done. And I see that with a lot of the guys coming in. Hey, it's not a fault. You don't know what you don't know. And, once you learn it, start spreading it onto your people and watch them grow is the big thing.
Well, I can't wait for your team to see what it is that you just shared. And I quite clearly now see why you are such a great leader, Abe. It's because you genuinely have a love for your people. It's hard to find great talent, as you know, in home services, but it can be transactional. But you have a real love and care for not just their success in the job, but their development as a person. And that is wonderful for you to share. And thank you for sharing that piece with us.
Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome.
And it seems like, of course, not just service to your team is important, but to the community. I mean, we have a whole list of organizations that you support: Travis Manion Foundation, CBS's Heroes Home Project, a veteran roof giveaway, holiday roof giveaway. Like, why does it matter so much to give back to the community?
I mean, that has always been one of our focuses, even before we were in CertainPath, and just giving back to the community that we lived in. And really started with me and my brother and our family being, from Levittown. And as we've grown now, I just look at the employees, where they living at, what happened, their community. If we can't take care of the community that serves our company, what good is it? And again, if we're not able to be profitable, we can't do those things. So, it's all a way of just giving back. And every great company has got to help out the community. I mean, it's what do they say? It takes a village to raise a child, right? Well, it takes great companies to support the community, and the community supports them. What comes first? I believe the company supporting the community is going to be the first thing, and then they'll come back and support you in the end. And it's very important to us to do that.
Yeah, you're not just a great home services company, but you are also a force for good in the community, which is very inspiring to hear. So, Abe, final question here for you. So, Kanga, of course, has won numerous awards: GAF, Master Elite, Atlas, Platinum Pro Plus, and you can look at the website and see all those accolades, right? So, as you look ahead, what's your long-term vision for the business? What is the legacy that you want to leave behind for your team, for your customers, for your community?
Oh, the legacy to leave behind. Ooh, that's a tough one. Having a company that can stand on its own, and the employees primarily owning it and running that company without myself, my brother being around, and knowing that my customers are taken care of 100%. And they are that way today. It's just, how much more can we push? How much more can we grow the company and continually grow our people? It's coming now where we're having employees' kids come into the business, which is really, to me, is the next generation of, okay, this is nice. This is really great. Some of the kids are going to college now. Last year we had 27 children at the Christmas party. And I just start looking around like, wow, we're missing probably 10 that are in the high school age to really want to come to the Christmas party, but there are probably 2 or 3 that are in college too. So just watching the company grow and continually on with that legacy would be awesome, and continually serve the community the way we do.
I love it. So it's that generational impact, which I think you are already doing and seeing the fruits of. So, Abe, this has been a true pleasure to get to know you and sharing your story. Close us out by sharing with our viewers, our listeners, how to connect with you, how to check out the website. Tell us all that if you would.
The website is abrooksconstruction.com. You can email me at abe@abrooksconstruction.com. Contact the company, ask for me. They'll get you in touch with me right away. I'm not real big on the social media and all the other stuff like that. But email or getting in touch with the company would get you right to me.
Great. And I'll make sure to have all your contact information in the show notes as well. So, Abe, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the show.
All right. Thank you.
And everyone else, thanks for tuning in, and make sure to subscribe, comment, and share. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of the Home Services Success Stories podcast, powered by Peakzi, the #1 AI platform for growing your home services business.